Blast me to the mortal realms! It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer, issue 18 by Hachette Partworks and Games Workshop. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mad Merlins Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine review. And today we're going to take a look at issue 18, which comes with the Underworld's warband, the Kunnin Krew. So this is for our orcs. Not only that, we learn about storm hosts, and we have a brand new battle mat to look at. So before we dive into the magazine, don't forget to, of course, like the video if you are enjoying the content. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel, as it will help the channel out. You can also help the channel out by just dropping a comment down below. Let me know how you're getting on with your Stormbringer collection. And if you also want to help put tea in my teapot, biscuits in my biscuit box, and paint on my paint desk, you can support the channel by the Mad Merlins Patreon page. So let's dive into issue 18. Now, I've heard a few horror stories where people have had this issue and there's been breakages. I can see that mine looks okay, so that will please the person I'm sharing a subscription with, so at least he'll be happy that his models aren't damaged in any way. So let's open her up. And we'll take a look at the frame first before we go through the magazine. So here we have the Kunnin Krew, and it's a pretty cool and interesting frame. So it is a trio of hobgrots and a couple of larger orcs. They are draped in dark leathers and carry vicious weapons that are used to capture slaves and take them back to fight in their pits. So yeah, some rather interesting and kind of gruesome looking models. Yeah, quite nice. Fun little warband for you to paint. Should be quite nice. Yeah, we'll learn a bit more about them in the magazine. But each one has its nicely detailed base, so there's no need to worry about adding extra detail later on. So each one has an individually detailed base. So we've got a set of ropes here, we've got a net, some stone and dirt and a skull, coins and a book, and some shifting sand and some stones there. Sounds pretty cool. Ouch, spiky. Right, let's take a look at 18, and we'll also try and get the game mat in view. So here we have issue 18 of Stormbringer, and yeah, we add the Kunnin Krew to our collection for the orcs. So it's going to be quite interesting to look at. So we break down the issue by looking first at storm hosts. We have a savage history about the realm of beasts. We have our battle profile for the Kunnin Krew. We build and paint our Kunnin Krew. We also have war scrolls for the Cruel Boys, war scrolls for the Stormcast, rules about deployment, and a battle of wits is our playthrough. So, the Stormcasts and their storm hosts. The Stormcast Eternals are divided into armies known as storm hosts, each of which contains scores of armoured warriors united by a common cause. Every storm host is legendary in the mortal realms. So the most notable poster boys, as you would say, are the Hammers of Sigmar. So these are the most common golden and blue armoured warriors of Sigmar that have been around since Sigmar started his campaign against eliminating the forces of chaos. On the back we have a few of the others. So we have the Anvils of the Heldenhammer, who are a really cool black and bone colour scheme. The Hallowed Knights, which are silver and gold with bits of blue. My personal favourite, the Celestial Vindicators. These guys have a nice turquoise with white colour scheme, and they're really cool. I used to paint these guys for my Mortal Realms collection. But I am liking the look of the Iron Fanes more than these guys for this collection. And we have the Astral Templars, which are a nice reddy purple sort of colour scheme. And yeah, They are the first astral champions were forged from the souls of beast hunting tribespeople of Gur. So yeah, they are a bit savage, but they do have an affinity for beasts. Speaking of beasts, we have a savage history. So Gur has always been a savage realm defined by earth-shattering battles. Even in the glory days of the Age of Myth, the realm was a war-torn and brutal land. Not even the endless horrors of the Age of Chaos were able to break the spirit of the realm and its hardy inhabitants. Conflict is the only constant in Gur. So this details the ancient empires. So in the Age of Myth, the heartlands of Gur were fought over by the monstrous empires of the Draconith, towering draconic beings, and the Drogruk, hulking brutish centaurs. After centuries, this war has been sparked anew by Kragnos, the last of the Drogruk, who leads the forces of destruction in unified battle. So this is a pretty cool tribal painting showing Kragnos, the end of empires rising up, people being sacrificed on altars, Kragnos versus the Dragonkin, and there he is, right, this is where they imprisoned him, and this is him breaking out of his prison. So yeah, we've got a bit of information here about the Beast Keeps. So these were once fortresses of chaos, but they have been overtaken by the Iron Jaws and War Clans. We have the rise of Gordrak, the Fist of Gork, and he's a brutal beast here. The massive Fangafrak, the Maw Crusher, that's it. That's what I was trying to think of. Brutal thing. We're getting him in our second premium kit, I believe. But yeah, pretty cool. Nice, more information about the various battles over the ages of the Mortal Realms. So moving on then, we have our background information and our battle record sort of thing for the Kunnin Krew. The Kunnin Krew are a mob of cruel boys who hunt all across the realms in search of things and people to steal. Led by the ingenious Manok the Kunnin, this ragtag band are skilled kidnappers who love to snatch the enemy's best beasts and warriors, even in the midst of battle. So we can tick off the reason why they are brought to the Mortal Realms and battles within it. And we have their tactics there as well. And we have all the names of them here. So Manok the Kunnin, our leader. Torka Tubskull, he's sort of right-hand man. Gricket, Shank, and Krookgrin are their Hobgrot helpers. So we have our build guide for them. So making sure you clip out carefully. There are quite a few fragile and even spiky components, as I found out. So just take your time. They are push fit models, so they go together quite easily. Just be careful with the sharp components. You don't want to spike your fingers. And yeah, they go together pretty easily, and they all do look quite nice. Then we have our paint guide for them. So we are painting them with 3 coats of auric flesh first off. Then picking out all the bone and rope details with wraithbone. There's quite a lot, so just take your time. We're then picking out the black cloth with Abaddon Black. So again, there's quite a lot, so take your time going around each of the models. We even have the little raven here, the Maw Crow. Then we're using catch and flesh to pick out all the wood and the loincloth areas, as well as details on the base, any pouches and shoes. And then finally, we're using Leadbelcher to pick out all the silver armor and weapon details. So again, there's a lot on these models. Just take your time, refer back to your gallery to see how well you're doing, and that's them for the moment. They do look pretty nice, pretty good, but they are sorely requiring some shades to pick out the definition a bit more. Moving on then, we got our rules for them. So Manok the Kunnin, and then his Kunnin Krew. And tutorials on the back on how to use them. We also have the full raw scroll for Xandire's Truth Seekers. So we can finally use them for full abilities in the games. We got their special rules there. And we have a mission tutorial all about deployment. So each one has a little square with a number on, so number 1 and number 2. Our reverse side is going to be this cool blasted wasteland, and each one is going to be individual looking on the opposite side as well. So yeah, we have starting deployment areas for each faction, and you take turns deploying your units within those areas. So we have a Battle of Wits as our mission. So we have Xandar's Truth Seekers, the Stormstrike Chariot, and 5 Vindictors. Then the Kunnin Krew, 10 Gut Rippers, and the Manskewer Bolt Boys. And then we have our new battle mat. So from issue 21, we get new models, new paints, new scenery, and battle plans. So let's zoom in here a bit, because we got some nice stuff to take a look at. So we get our first lot of Gloomspite Gits in the form of one of the Underworld's warbands here. We also get another unit of Hobgrots, some Slitters, and Shooters. The Gloomspite Git, I forget the name. There's a special Night Goblins. That's it. Used to be Night Goblins. Get them. We get the boss and the shaman, and we also get the Troggoth beast here, which is pretty cool. That's actually coming up pretty soon. We also get a set of terrain pieces. In this case, a fountain and a treasure chest. On the Stormcast side, we get the start of our Sylvaneth, which is going to be pretty cool. We get the Arc Revenant and Ilfrane's Hunters from Underworlds. We also get 5 more Vindictors. We get the Bow Stormcast, I think the Judicators, the Judicator Prime, 6 Gryph-hounds, 2 Gryph-hounds of Judicator Prime, and the Lord Aquilor on Gryph Charger. So yeah, we're going to get some awesome models coming in the next 20 issues. I think it's going to be like sort of a breakdown of 20 issues. We'll get another one of these sort of photos once we get to issue 39. Yeah, it looks really cool. So before we try and get the mat in view, let's take a look at the next 2 issues. So issue 19, we get Guard of Steel Soul, the first of our Stormcast special heroes. Now he looks pretty cool doing that superhero landing. We learn all about War Magic and Sigmar's Storm. Then in issues 20 and 21, we get the Marsh Crawler Slogoth Part 1, and of course Part 2 will be in Part 21. And we learn about the Fire Slayers and other Chaos monsters. So yeah, going to be quite an interesting couple of issues. Right, let's see if I can get this mat on the table. Or at least have a look at a few of the sides anyway. So yeah, here we have a brand new mat, and we got a rather cool sort of foresty side with some fungus growing there. So it's obviously infected by Hobgrots. There's even a dead grot there. Little spiders skittering around, which is pretty cool. And there's even the skeleton of a dead spider. That's really cool. And yeah, lots of these brackeny type plants, little spiders, and cool details. And of course, the opposite side is our large wasteland, and we have the number 2 there. But yeah, I do quite like this little side of the mat. It looks pretty cool. And there we have it. That was issue 18 of Stormbringer. Pretty cool. We had a nice look at the future with the map page. We got some new awesome Oryx to add to our collection, and we have a brand new battle mat to play over, which I quite like the look of. So I will try to get a full picture of that battle mat stuck to the end of the video. But yeah, that's all for this issue. So thank you all for watching. If you think I deserve it, please give this video a like, and of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, as it does help me out immensely. And I will then, of course, see you next time for more mad content. Thank you and goodbye.